Hi everyone, welcome back to Silver Hill, and my name is Kevin. Today I'd like to talk about all the wildfires in Canada. I know it's upsetting a lot of the people south to us. I'm from Canada. One of the things you need to understand is that the forests and the wilderness in Canada is huge. When you talk about doing certain things like perhaps, I guess people would call it forest management, this is quite limited because of the huge and the vast distance of wilderness and people. The very best way to manage these forests is to get on to the issue of climate change and how our burning of fossil fuels and our pollution of the atmosphere is causing a lot of the earth to warm up, and the very fact that only a half a degree or 2 degrees warmer than what we're normally used to can lead to these devastating forest fires. Now, there are forest fires that are created by human activity where people are in the woods and they're working and there's a spark from their machinery or something like that, and the woods is just so tinder and dry that it can spark one forest fire. So also this can be done by recreational activities, people having campfires, going camping, and both of these things are both forestry, getting firewood, whatever, and also recreation make up a huge part of any country's economy. That being said, the main issue, though, however, is the fact that our forests in Canada and the atmosphere in general is getting warmer to the point where it doesn't take much to start a fire. Now, when you're talking about acres and acres, thousands and tens of thousands of acres, and you're trying to think about bulldozing down fire barricades or whatever may come to your mind, or as one person once suggested, raking the forest floor. I suggest you check a map and you really just see how huge Canada is compared to its population, and how we cannot guarantee that any of these activities in such a small amount is going to make such a huge difference. What we do need is national and multinational cooperation on things to do with climate change. We need some of the richest countries in the world that are some of the greatest polluters, you know who I'm talking about, in the world, that does lead to these conditions. So it's kind of, you know how they say, what goes around comes around. The pleasures that we enjoy from burning fossil fuels, that leading to pollution in our atmosphere, and this causes a rise in temperature. So you can do that opt out and say, well, this is the way the Earth has been since the beginning, and we go through periods of great changes in our climate, and it's nothing to do with us. However, what we've been doing is tracking the data, and the data is telling us the more we burn fossil fuels, the more forest fires and the more of these kind of climate changes we're going to find happening faster. I've seen it in my own lifetime. I'm in my 60s, and I've seen the results of the change in the climate. What happens is there's this misunderstanding that as the climate warms, quote unquote, that it's going to get better. Like, hey, don't we all want to live in the south of France and enjoy that kind of a lifestyle? It's not that the climate is going to warm all over and make us all feel better. It's that the temperature changes are causing very abrupt and, relatively to history, to our recent history, very abrupt changes in our weather. And this is what's leading to these forest fires, or, it's helping make the situation so much easier. So yeah, we live in a country in Canada where the forests are huge. The people here are suffering from losing, sometimes it's recreational cottages, sometimes it's farmland and property, woodland that they work, and sometimes And quite often there's thousands of people right now losing their homes, endangering their lives, and and our firefighters and our wood firefighters are in there, and they're trying to do the best they can, and rescue efforts, people volunteering with their aircraft to remove, companies to remove people from these dangerous areas. Now, a lot of them won't go because they don't believe in it. And that's one of the problems with humans, is that we don't believe it until we see it, until it actually affects us, until we're actually the ones whose backyard is on fire. Then we're all, oh, damn, we got to do something about this. So what you're seeing is the convection of currents that go across the globe. They bring the smoke into other areas, which is, again, really a lesson that we're all one. The whole planet is one. And we have to start thinking about, if there's a war in another area and they're dropping bombs, nuclear bombs, whatever it is, not even nuclear, just conventional weaponry, and this is constantly going on in some far off, hot, dry, arid country, we're thinking it's not affecting us. Or in Europe, which now has the largest war since World War II raging on because of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. All this stuff, all this human activity that's coming from our thinking that we somehow own this planet, that we're the crown of creation, and that that we just are the ones that are on the hierarchy, the totem pole, the top of the pyramid. We're not. We're part of a very delicate ecosystem, and all these things are occurring because of the way we're managing and we're using and our intelligence and our knowledge to cause pollution that's affecting our environment. If you don't believe this, look into the facts. And aside from all that, even if you don't believe in climate change, which really, this is difficult to get around, but if you don't believe in it, not believing in something doesn't make it true. I don't want to believe it. I want to plug my ears and I want to close my eyes, and I don't want to believe in it. But it's still actually happening. So the fact that these forest fires are happening, and they're happening everywhere, they're not just in one country. They're in northern countries, southern countries, and we need to work together. We need to keep up friendly relations for fire and rescue. We need to work together. We need to be as a team, and as a country and as a nation, we need to get together with other nations and stop the wars, stop the burning of fossil fuels, or limit it. Yes, I understand. Even solar panels take petroleum and to create, or electric cars, they need oil products. So it's not a flick the switch off overnight, but we definitely don't need to be turning the switch on more. We need to slow this down, because we're just like a dog chasing its tail. We're not going to get ahead of this unless we change our attitude, unless we change our thinking about what is causing climate change and what also would be better. Blaming, punishing, hating, speaking nasty, or saying good things and trying to get along as neighbors. I vote for trying to get along with neighbors and working on this problem together. And we'll see you in the next one, guys. And be safe out there. Take it easy.